What is this in my garage? Well, this is my new toy. Just picked it up yesterday. I've only ridden it for about an hour. Absolutely amazing. It's a 2009 Kawasaki ZX-6R. It's not a 636. I think they went back to the 600cc in like 2007 or 8. I can't remember. The extra 36 cc's was making it so they couldn't be in a super sport class, but back to the 600cc, and I've just been itching to buy a super sport and take it to the track. I love tracking my E36 M3, as you guys all know, so this was kind of the next step. For the past 4 or 5 years, I've had an FZ07. That's the first motorcycle I ever owned. I got into riding, a buddy of mine, he got a DRZ 400 SM, and he invited me out to the dunes to go ride that and learn how to ride that. And honestly, I can't thank him enough for getting me into the world of two wheels. It's one of those things I never thought I'd get into, but he did, and he exposed me to it, and there was no going back. In all honesty, side note, I recommend taking the safety course, even if you don't think that you'll ever buy a motorcycle. It's like 8 hours of riding in a very controlled, safe environment, and it's just tons of fun. It would make a great birthday present, or like something you do with your girl or guy friend, or Mother's Father's Day present, something like that. But anyways, back to the bike. Yep, like I said, ZX6R. She is amazing. I got this for a super great price, sub $5,000, and it only has 2,800 miles on it. It actually has less than that, and we'll get to that in a second. It has very few mods. Previous owner did not molest it or anything like that. He did put a Yoshimura slip on, which it backfires like a mother. So I'm probably gonna have to get it tuned or get a power commander or something like that to stop the backfire as much. The throttle's also a little, it could be smoothed out a bit with a tune, so I'll look into that. But he did the bare necessities, which is nice. Frame sliders, these are actually engine cover frame sliders. The normal frame sliders would go up here, but these supposedly by Yoshimura as well are supposed to slide a bit better instead of digging into the ground and flipping your bike. So we'll see. I don't plan on testing them out. He also put carbon fiber RNG Racing tank covers, which is kind of cool. I don't mind that. And then bar ends. He also has JPR Performance levers, which I'm glad he didn't cheap out on, the eBay ones. I know that they can work, but honestly, $36 for both levers is kind of a red flag. I have those on my FZ07 right now, and the brake lever is known to fail. And having a brake lever stick on you while you're going, freeway speeds. We don't speed, right? Freeway speeds is a no-go. Comes with the Öhlins damper. This came on the bike, and I honestly have not ridden this bike without it, so I can't say what it does, but I definitely don't notice any vibration, even at speeds. Adjustable front and rear suspension, which is nice, so I'll probably go get figure out how to valve that to my weight. He did an HID low beam, which is cool, and then LED daytime running lights. They look nice. They're just probably like 5K or something like that. They're pure white, maybe a touch of blue, but they're not obnoxious. Double bubble windscreen. It's kind of standard on most super sports. And yeah, tail tidy. But I actually appreciate this. He left the large turn signals. I know that these don't look as slick as just a complete tail tidy, but honestly, at this point, I've only been riding for 4 years. I've only put, like 7,000 miles on a motorcycle in my life. And the amount of times I've been ridden off the road is just insane. So, safety is paramount. I'm still someone who hasn't experienced what it's like to blast down the freeway at 100 with only a t-shirt on. I see people doing it, and I'm honestly envious. Like, I wish I had the balls to do that. But at this point, I honestly don't see myself doing that full gear all the time. I did take the front cover off the front sprocket, and I do notice that he has a 15 tooth sprocket in there instead of the stock 16, so he went -1 in the front, which is cool, but it just means that my speedometer's off by let's say 10%. And I did kind of notice that. I was coming back on the freeway, and I'm like, geez, everybody's doing like 95 and 100. What the heck's going on? But yeah, it's just because my speedo thinks I'm going faster than I really am, so I'm going to get a speedo healer as the first thing, just to make sure that my speedometer is reading correctly. And I mentioned earlier that this actually has less miles than's on there, and that's for that exact reason. He did this pretty early, and that just means he's been racking up artificial miles on his odometer. So this has less than 2,800, but you know, it doesn't really matter. That's low mileage. I was originally looking at CBR 600RRs and R6s. I think they're absolutely amazing. I asked some questions in some forums for, you know, what's a good super sport for a track bike, and the majority of the answers were the cheapest super sport is the best track bike. So this is actually, you know, I was trying to spend 35 or less. This was 45, so I actually did end up spending more than I had anticipated, but with the certain upgrades like the fully adjustable suspension, the damper, things like that, and the fact that it's mostly stock, so I kind of know what's going on, I pulled the trigger and thought that, hey, I'll ride this for a season, and then once I figure out how to tow it and get some fenders and full leathers, then I'll take her to the track. But yeah, so far I'm super enjoying it. Like I said, I was considering a CVR or an R6, and the main reason I had discounted the ZX6Rs was, one, I thought that they were still all 636cc. Not that I may ever race, but I just thought, you know, I should get a 600cc. They're technically all 599cc's, just so I can be in the super sport category. I think some racing classes are allowing the 66, but once I found out that they went to 600cc, that was kind of enticing. But then also, I'm just not a huge fan of the neon green Ninjas. You know, like they're mostly all neon green. But then I saw this pop up for sale, and it's the Monster Edition. And the Monster Edition is, as far as I know, the only difference between the regular 600 RRs, the ZX6Rs, the Ninjas, and the Monster Edition is the fairings. So this is all black, and it has some green Monster guys on there. Once I figured out that these Monster guys are just stickers, this too, just stickers, and I can remove them, I was all in. I mean, for the price for a bike that has 2,800 or less mileage, for sub $5,000, I mean, I think that's a fantastic price. I couldn't pass up on it, and all I gotta do is, like I said, speedo healer, maybe a tune, and then yeah, remove these Monster stickers, and I'll be good to go. I've really been enjoying revving up to 16,000. I mean, this is my kind of my dream, high revving. I know it's a motorcycle, but it's kind of like Formula One-esque. I wish my car revved up to 18,000. It's just fantastic. Great feeling. I will have a clip after this of me just doing 2 pulls. I think I only go maybe through 3rd gear, not sure. But you'll notice my first time, I'm still getting used to this bike. The FZ07 red lines at 9 or 10. So when you're tucked and you're going, you kind of do it off feeling and time that you're going through the power band, because you're not staring at your tack as you're accelerating, obviously, you're looking where you're going. So you'll notice on the first pull, I'm in 1st gear and I shift at like 10,000, but that feels like I'm at red line on my old bike. So I need to get used to letting the RPMs climb. And boy, so everybody who writes that super sports are awful for commuting, the power band is not right for the street, all that kind of stuff, honestly, in my opinion, you can shove it. The FZ07 weighs almost exactly the same. Obviously, it's geared for the street, and even when I'm at like 7,000 RPM, that is plenty to overtake cars on the freeway and things like that. This feels just as fast as my FZ without downshifting. So you don't have to downshift and get into the actual power band. I think it makes peak horsepower and torque around 13,000. You don't have to do that if you're just cruising around. You can, and that's what I love about it, is that you can. So I honestly, riding this has been fantastic. Obviously, it doesn't feel perfect when it's down here, but it still feels fast. As soon as you start getting above 12,000, it's a whole nother story. So I just love how it's there, and you can use it if you want it. But yeah, just show some 2 pulls, and thought I'd just do an introduction to my new bike, and yeah, hope to take it to the track in the next year or so. So I'm still getting used to her, obviously. Taking it easy, trying to keep the front wheel down. Something I really like is if you're at a standstill and you're in 1st gear and you're in a standstill, it won't let you go past neutral. So if you're completely stopped and you pull up, you can't accidentally go into second. It just keeps you in neutral. So I'm just going to do a pull here. Nothing crazy. No need to get pulled over. Just going to do a quick pull here and then a pull on the on-ramp home. Enjoy.